Aloha, kākou, it's DJ Kano, and we're playing Division 2, as you can see. I was going through a bunch of um, normally at this point, I would just restart the video because I totally don't know how to say the word countdown. Um, but I'm just going to leave that in because I think it's pretty hilarious, and I will proceed from here. So, what I was trying to say was, I've recently done a bunch of countdowns, and I wanted to talk about the things that I have discovered since the first video that I made. Because the first video was totally just what I saw and only went through it like maybe once or twice. So there was a bunch of things that I was missing out. One very obvious thing that I was missing out on, as you can see where I'm at, it's really super simple. Come right over here and you'll notice that there's the seasons, I guess you want to call it a vendor or just the seasons area. And then move over to the left a little bit and you have this, the countdown requisition, what does it say? Requisition station. Countdown's requisition station, right? So that means you have a vendor here that you can buy things using the tokens that you get from Countdown. All right, so you can see the currency right there on the side for the invisible hand would be 75 of those items. I'm not exactly sure what they're called. Let me see if they appear in my inventory at all. Wrong button. In my inventory, because resources. Let's see right here. Yeah, so it's called Countdown Requisition. That's all it's called. I thought it'd be like a fancier name, like Countdown Tokens or something like that, but it's Countdown Requisition. I'll just say tokens for now. And you get those things from doing Countdown. Let's see here. So right now, I'm assuming this would be like a weekly reset, just like every other vendor. But you can go ahead and take a look at the fact that we have the invisible hand here. Rolls are decent, you know, considering that this is a vendor. This one's also pretty decent. The force multiplier. We have the safety distance right here. Safety distance is pretty cool too. Perfect outsider. And we have some caches. So these would be caches that you want. These are good stuff right here. So named caches, optimization caches, hidden alliance caches, and of course the exotic caches. My recommendation, if you don't have all the DZ exclusives, go for the named caches. Those ones are golden. There's a pretty good probability that you can get DZ exclusive items, some good items that are used in raids and all over the place. Like the Murakami Murakami Emperor's Guard knee pads, the gift to the Providence backpack, right? Those ones are pretty key items. I love the Rail Splitter AR. I know there's new guns coming out, but I really love that named gun. That one would be the named Sitar. So those are all really cool things that you might get out of the named caches. Optimization obviously is good for continuing to optimize your gear and your weapons, and of course Hidden Alliance, because you can get some of the Hidden Alliance things. Heartbreaker, I don't know if I'm saying this correctly, but Uzi Nagetica. So those are some really cool things you can get too, and you don't have to worry about farming. So check that out. And of course, you have the exotic caches, and people might be like, well, maybe they didn't used to be good before, but now they are because you can get the new exotics. To be real, I don't know that it's worth spending 224 of these credits just for one cache, on the off chance you can get one of the new exotics that drops. Especially since you're guaranteed to get it if you complete your seasons. So I wouldn't even worry about buying exotic caches, to be honest. Unless you're new to the game and you don't have all the exotics you need, then maybe it is worth it, you know. Even still though, you have places to get your exotics. You guys know what I'm talking about. Your weekly shared requisitions, you got those. You got your summit caches, you got your legendary caches. So exotics are still all over the place. They haven't taken that out. So I don't know if it's worth spending that many credits, especially given what it takes to get that many credits. So you see how much I have, 253. That's not a lot, but it's a good amount. I'm able to buy a few things here, and I'll tell you, I think I ran maybe about at least 10, maybe 15 at the most countdowns. So it takes a lot to get those credits. You know, it doesn't come by super easy, but also the grind isn't super hard either. So it's fun. It's fun to get there. That's a byproduct of just playing it and enjoying it. If you're trying to grind for credits, It's still tough. I'm not sure if it's worth it, but I enjoy it still. I would totally do it again, do more of them, and it offers a lot of opportunities. So before we dive in, I'm going to talk about that real quick. The opportunities that are there, right? So these are things that I don't know if every player is thinking about. Consider that when you go in, the things that we know already, right, are there's hunters as soon as you dive in. So you can go in and farm hunters if you want to. And hunters, they're a little tanky, they're a little fun to try and mess with and have fun. Even if you die, you respawn right there. You know, it's the easiest way to get hunters if you want to kill some hunters for fun. And get some named items. So that's one good thing. You can also do it for the sake of the speed run. What's the fastest time we can get? So you can run with your team, go in there. Not to mention, what's the fastest time we can get with 8 people, or 7, or 6, or 5, or 4. I know some guys are already like, oh yeah, we 2-manned it. Oh, we 3-manned it. We 4-manned it. Whatever it is, you know. But that's the beauty of it. It recommends 8, but you don't need to. There are groups that are casually going through it and just enjoying what it is for what it is. My opinion, if you hear from other people, it is not a raid. I know some people were talking about that in the PTS. They're like, it's pretty much just like a raid, but not as fun. That's not true. The best way I can describe it, and a lot of people have been agreeing with me when we talked about it in our countdown teams, is that it's kind of like if the league runs and the summit got together and they had like this love child. So I don't remember if I said that in the last video. I feel like I might have, but I just want to bring that up again because it really is. It's got a timer on it. You are very aware of the speed aspect. You want to do things quickly, and it's a farming game mode, just like the summit. It's meant to be for farming. You get a lot of drops. It's pretty cool. I really hope that they keep it kind of that way. I don't want them to get rid of the drops. It's been pretty nice to be able to get a lot of gear. Most of it is been halfway to mediocre, some pretty decent ones. So the RNG is pretty mellow. You're not getting a bunch of amazing things, but it's not like you're getting a bunch of only garbage either. So I think it's worth farming. So moving on, part of that, because you're going to be potentially getting a lot of gear that you don't need, especially if you're at the level 40 stage and you've been playing a while, you don't need specific gear. You need only specific gear. You don't need all the gear that drops, right? It's very rare that you'll find something that you want to keep. So you do want to try and not deconstruct everything. Okay, so don't deconstruct everything on the fly. You do want to have at least, I'll say, at least 25 is a good comfortable number in your inventory, so you can just grab and go. But at the same time, if you run out of space, you have time to actually go and decon a handful of things to get some of your space back. It's not as dire as some people have been making it. If you're trying to run to make sure, like, I want the best time possible, then yes, make sure you have more than 25 spaces. I would say 50, you're probably golden. You're probably not going to get more than 50 drops within an engagement. But if you're just having fun and it's casual and you're just cruising with your friends, then don't worry about having to have that many spaces. Okay? So what I was saying earlier was I tried to remind people, don't decon everything when you get out. Save it, because what you can do is you can come to your expertise station here, all right? And you see on the very bottom, I didn't notice it the last time, it says donate all junk. Okay, so donate all your junk. What it does is, if you take a look here, right, let's take a look at the gear sets because you can see it more easy. Let's go to my Providence, right? So go to my Providence and you can see that it shows you my gear, right? This is kind of what you remember in a way, not exactly, but in a way, this is what the recalibration station was, the library, right? So it would ask you basically, look, these are the things that I see that you have. Do you want to donate them for the cause, right? So do you want to strip off a roll and add it to the library? In this case, do you want to donate it and increase your proficiency for that particular item? So this is another opportunity to go ahead and increase your expertise and your proficiency levels. So you want to be more proficient. You don't have to only run with the gear that you're playing with. So you don't have to do it, as I like to say, like Call of Duty style, where, the prestige for the guns, the more you use it, the higher the prestige gets. Same thing with your gear, right? You don't have to only prestige by using your items. You can also increase your quote-unquote prestige or expertise by donating items. So that's very nice that they were able to give that option of not just doing it one way, but multiple ways of earning your proficiencies. Okay, so the other cool thing is, I think I can go to L2 was the other one. So you see from this screen, L2, donation materials. So I can actually go and increase my proficiency. You look on the rank progress on the right, the green. If I were to go and donate these many of my resources here, I can increase my proficiencies there too, right? And as you increase your proficiency rank, you'll be able to actually go ahead and put some of your materials toward that higher ranking and that stronger ability. So my Hunter's Fury is what I've been using a lot. So I do want to talk about builds next, about what I plan to do for builds in Countdown. But since I've been using Hunter's Fury as one of them, you can see that I have the star here. I can't recall if I was even close to level 10 or not, but since I do have the star, I acquired it here. It says that I am proficient. If I go ahead and I selected the mask already, I can see on the bottom right, upgrade, grade level 1. So the next grade bonus is 1% armor. It's not a lot, but then again, you're just donating materials. I can increase my proficiency and the abilities of my gear by going to upgrade it. So all these can be upgraded as well. I can't go past 1 because my expertise level is only at 1. So once I increase my expertise level more, then I'll be able to actually increase my gear more. Okay, so I don't recall exactly what the highest level was. I'd have to go back and take a look, but I think someone said 10 is where you start and 20 is what you can get to. Those numbers could be totally off, so I'm sorry if I am. If someone happens to know off the top of their head what the actual numbers are, I appreciate you. Drop something in the comments for me. Thank you very much. All right, so expertise that's pretty much it. Okay, so know that you can donate materials, you can donate your gear, you can actually just use your materials. One thing, I've had people be like, oh, but it's only what's in your inventory. I don't know that to be true because I had a whole bunch of things that were on me that I didn't have in my inventory. They were just junk. And when I went over here, I went inside and I looked at, okay, look, I got this and I got this. When I pressed donate all junk, let's see if it increases. And when I pressed it, it did. Very minimally because I only had a couple of each different thing that I had, but it did increase. So I don't know exactly how that works or if it is still based on inventory or not, but I think that's a weird mechanic if they do it that way. I think if you just donate it, it donates. I don't see them being very sticklers for that kind of stuff. Is it in your inventory? Is it in your stash? So I don't think so. If I'm wrong, someone in the comments, if you know, please correct me. Appreciate you. And then the last thing is what did someone else say? They were talking about the proficiency levels. Oh yeah, no. So I was hoping that they would do this in the future. I don't know that they're going to. This seems too complex and not necessary. But I wish that depending on the quality of your roll. So if I had something like my Hunter's Fury that was God rolled versus something that was like much lower rolled. Where's my lower rolled stuff? So like say this is that here my Walker. This is literally lower rolled. I wish that if the quality of the roll was higher, you would get more proficiency for it. But they're not going to do that probably. Okay, so let's see. Let's go dive into Countdown real quick. Let's see if I can get in there really quickly. Let's go fast. Open Countdown. I'm just going to go dive in. And we're going to take a look at a couple things. All right. Did I start it? Yeah, I did. Okay. It was a very quiet countdown. Sorry about that. Okay. So one thing to note, if you are playing Countdown right now, at least until they patch it, it has been a little buggy. For example, like screens like this, the load screens, it's still very, it's not been refined yet, so don't worry about that. Cleaners are who we got, all right? It was someone else last time. I think I Black Tusk the last few times. Okay, so note that. That's actually very important, that the screens are going to be buggy. So especially at the end, if you see that weird like load screen at the end, listen for the chopper. The chopper audio will pick up. Then you can just press and hold circle because it's just the screen's glitched, but the mechanic's still there to get out of it. Okay, you should get a regular load screen if you press it correctly. Okay, so now that we're in, okay, we're looking at this again. Okay, so we spawn at different locations, 1, 2, 3, I talked about that last time. Don't forget you got 1, 2, and 3 as well of the objectives. You only have to do 2, but if you do 3, I think you get an extra additional credit at least. I think you get more accolades if you do all 3. It's not a big benefit, but if you want to, your team is, feeling a little uppity and you want to go do it, then go do it. Let's see, we got the agent agent skill cooldowns are increased. Okay, that one's cool. Close range distance. And this one, okay, so this one, it reads weird. So this one I want to talk about. Enemies gain 100% hazard resistance. So it makes you think, why the hell would I want to press that to give my enemies hazard resistance? What it's actually doing, okay, so this one's important. You turn this one on, it goes from red to green. That it's intentional. It's supposed to be one that you're supposed to grab. This one is not one that's a trick or like a, why would I get that? It's not tricking you. It's just like a typo, I guess. If you don't press this one, the enemies will have 100% hazard resistance. I've noticed it myself because I threw shrapnel traps at some ads and they did get damaged by it, but you would see in red where normally it would show you the bleed damage. It showed in red immune, 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 immune. So they are immune right now to any kind of status effects until you turn this off. Once you turn it off, then you will actually gain, they will be able to take status effect damage. So keep in mind that that's what that is. I'm pretty sure they will fix the verbiage there. One thing that's important to note, okay, so I've had a few problems with a couple of groups that I was running with, and what you want to do is, well, you know, my opinion, this is all my opinion, you can totally run this whatever, however you want to run it, but my recommendation is wherever you spawn, right? So you could have one team, your subgroup spawn here, the other one spawn here. Okay, so you want to get the countermeasures. They make your life so much easier if you grab the countermeasures. Trust me, it's worth the extra time. And do it within, 2 or 3 minutes if you possibly can at the most. Why that long? Because you have hunters along the paths. And take your time to kill some of the hunters. You get name drops. If you take 2 to 3 minutes, maybe at the most, to turn these on, you still have plenty of time to go through the 2 objectives and the main mission. Okay, so I do recommend that you guys go and do that. Okay, so again, if you're spawned here, you spawned here. Just have whatever group say, okay, subgroup here, you're good, you're closest to this one. Can you go and turn that one off? And we'll meet you in the middle. And then the other team is here. Yes, they have to walk farther, but why would they go to this one and you're both going to go to this one? Have the other team go here. Okay, so wherever you spawn, just have one subgroup go to the far east or the far west. They're in the same locations, they're just different things every time. Okay, so I recommend you go and get that, and then meet in the middle if you need to, all right? Next thing is, this is your final objective. You have to get here. This is non-negotiable. So, if you have a team that's going to go here and meet you in the middle, that means your 2 teams will be roughly around this location right next to the cooling tower. So go to Turbine and go to Containment. Okay, so don't mark your location from here to be like, okay, so from here, where my cursor is now, oh, Administration is just as far as Turbine and Containment. Oh, why not? Let's just go over there. Because when you're done, you have to run across the map all the way to the cooling tower. It doesn't seem like it's very far, and you know what? It probably isn't, but every little bit counts, especially if you're still trying to get that final objective. So pay attention to that. I also want to look at this. All right, let me see what it says. It says it says protect the VIP at the turbine. So it tells you what you're doing at the objectives. This is one key one that we haven't tested yet, but we want to try it out. Notice what the objective is. So at the turbine, you're going to protect the VIP. This whole theory made blow the other one completely out of the water in terms of distance, or you may have to find the balance. Prevent hostile upload at Containment. So hostile upload, I think that one is pretty simple. That one might be one of those computer ones where you just have to prevent them from uploading something. So it's I think it's a defend a position, and then secure the shade crates. Shade crates are super easy. It's get in the shade crates, the ones that shoot out all the rogue skills, just like at the Liberty mission or in the Summit. So you take like 2 crates, and then you just have to secure the area and kill a whole bunch of ads. It's super quick. Versus protect the VIP. Oh my gosh, there are so many spawns. It's not even funny. There's so many spawns. That can actually take a lot longer than the other 2 that are listed. So learn what the different things are. I wish I knew what the upload at Containment was. I could tell you more clearly. I don't remember exactly which one that is, but the more you play it, the more you recognize which ones those are. And I'll tell you, because I do know protect the VIP, I'd actually go to the other 2. So now, if I exclude Turbine and look back at the map, right? So if I exclude Turbine, that means, yes, we actually are going to Administration and Containment. Up to you, depending on where your team is. If you guys end up here, is it that far of a walk from Administration to the cooling tower? Is that faster than trying to endure protect the VIP at Turbine and then running over the cooling tower? That is your call. honestly, based on how my team has been playing and what we've been doing, it probably would be quicker to skip the Turbine, skip the VIP, and go to administration and go to containment. So it's all up to your team to determine those things, and I would take a look at those objectives and learn them because it will help you. The next few stages that I would like to do with my team is to actually go through and learn what the different spawn points are for the different zones, and every time we go to a zone, we may be able to more efficiently spread out and use our resources and not run around like crazy trying to catch everyone that runs away using the spotter or the scanner pulse. Okay, I was going to talk about builds here. You know what? I'm actually going to save that for the next time. I will tell you this. I'll show you my Hunter's Fury build for now because we did talk about that. I call it the Ravenous Fury because I'm using the Ravenous. It's been pretty good up close. It's good for popping shields, and it's been very, very nice for going up against the Hunters. I use the Dark Winter. I love the Dark Winter so much. This is my favorite SMG because it shoots the fastest. Yes, the mag is not the biggest, but it's the fastest shooting, hard hitting, really, really quick gun. So I recommend the Dark Winter, or that would just be the Vector if you can get a good rolled Vector. Okay, and then Hunter's Fury, I decided to run on the backpack Bloodsucker because I want to get that bonus armor from kill, and then I found just from my raid build the Fox Pairs knee pads with crit damage on it. The rest are crit damage or chance. I would go ahead and roll those things, and yeah, it's been nice because it's pretty high damage. It's good for rushing and getting through. I'll tell you, to be honest, it does get boring after a little while having the same rusher build on. So I'm going to be looking into other builds. I want to look into a different kind of a rusher that does different things. Near the end for the extraction, when you have to get through the wave of hunters and bad guys and get to the extraction for the helicopter, what I was talking about with one of my buddies from a different clan, we were looking at what if we did like a scramble type of build, something that you can throw out seeker mines, and every time we throw seekers, the hunters roll, so at least it gives you a moment of clarity where they're not shooting at you and killing you and shredding off all your armor. So a seeker mine build would be really cool. He uses an oxidizer with his seeker mine, so I was thinking about just the pure oxidizer build too, because that's a good one to get them out of cover or at least throw them off base, and they're not just targeting you and shooting you. I was thinking about also throwing together a build like that in combination with the Acostas, because I'll get a few more grenades on that, and just tossing out grenades too. Throwing it at them while they're in cover gets them out of it, and it throws them off balance. It might make life a little bit easier for you when you run through. So things like that. I would like to do more builds that are centered around Countdown. So that'll be for the next time. I'll talk about a few build options and go over what I've done for this character that I'm using just for Countdown. This was a fourth character with experimental builds. I deleted a whole bunch of old builds just for I have inventory space, and I'm going to have just a handful of builds to help me with Countdown every time I want to run this game mode. All right, guys, I appreciate you guys. Till the next time, I will be back with Countdown builds. All right, shoots.